So have you ever waited 2 or 3 whole hours just to eat at a restaurant?
Oh, wow. 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, just standing there, watching other people eat and hoping your turn is next.
That is definitely a test of patience.
It really is. Oh, welcome to today's deep dive. Today we're exploring something that sounds incredibly simple, right?
Yeah.
Standing in line.
Right.
Specifically, we are looking at queuing culture in China. And our mission today is to show you how this simple everyday act actually reveals this massive story about a country's history.
Its history, its resources, and really how entirely new generations can change the rules of society.
Exactly. And I should mention right up front, for those of you joining us today to practice your English listening skills, you are in the perfect place.
You really are. We are going to intentionally keep our pace a bit more relaxed today.
Yeah, nice and slow.
Right, with crystal clear pronunciation. We want you to comfortably explore these big, fascinating sociological ideas, but without feeling rushed.
Right. So we'll use simple, clear sentences, and we're going to repeat some key vocabulary words along the way.
That sounds like a great plan.
So to really understand how people wait, I think we first have to look at where they are waiting.
Yeah, geography plays a huge part.
Because the research in our source material shows that queuing in China isn't the same everywhere. It depends heavily on the location, like specifically the size of the city.
Right. That geographic divide is actually striking. If you look at massive cities, places like Beijing or Shanghai, people queue very well.
So like at a subway station.
Exactly. At subway stations or bus stops in these really big cities, everyone just waits neatly in line.
Huh.
It's highly structured.
But then if you travel to smaller cities, things can sometimes look very different.
Very different.
Yeah, it can look a bit chaotic. Like instead of standing in a line, people might push forward and, squeeze in.
Squeeze. That is our first really good vocabulary word for today. Right, to squeeze means to push tightly through a crowd when there is almost no space. You are physically forcing your way forward.
Yeah, using your shoulders, just squeezing through the gap.
Exactly, it's a very physical act.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Why is there such a massive difference in behavior just based on the size of the city?
Well,
because I'm trying to picture it. In a big city, a neat line is basically like a neat row of dominoes, right?
Right, a row of dominoes.
But the small city lines sound more like a crowded, messy rock concert.
Yeah.
Where everyone's just trying to get to the front stage. So why the difference?
Well, behavior really mirrors the environment. Big cities have spent years building very predictable systems. They have physical barriers, clear signs.
Workers directing people.
Yeah, exactly. The environment tells you exactly where to stand. But in smaller cities, those systems might not be totally developed yet.
Right, I see.
But there is actually a second factor here, and it's a generational shift.
Generational, meaning young people are doing things differently.
Precisely. Young people in China are actively learning to queue better. They're making a conscious choice to step away from the old habit of the squeeze.
Okay, wait. That makes me wonder. Why did the older generation ever develop the habit of the squeeze in the first place?
That's the real question, isn't it?
Right, because nobody naturally wants to be crushed in a giant crowd. It's uncomfortable.
To understand that, we have to look backward. We have to look at the history of the squeeze. And it really all comes down to one simple concept.
Which is?
Resources.
Resources.
Right. The everyday things people need to live. In the past, China had a massive population, but they simply did not have enough resources for everyone.
The source gave some really stark examples of this, like there just weren't enough buses for everyone who needed to go to work.
Right. There weren't enough hospital appointments for sick people.
Not enough train tickets, or even concert tickets.
Exactly. So if you are standing on a dirt road and 100 people are waiting, but only one small bus pulls up, you can't just stand in a neat line.
Because if you wait politely at the back of the queue, you won't get on the bus.
You'll be left behind. And the next bus might not come for hours. People pushed and squeezed because they had absolutely no choice.
They had to.
Right. If they wanted to get what they needed, they had to fight for it. It was extreme scarcity.
So what does this all mean for us looking back? It means pushing wasn't about people just being impolite, right?
Not at all.
It was actually a basic survival strategy when things were scarce.
Yes. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it explains how society organizes itself.
How so?
Well, when there's a panic over resources, people adopt defensive behaviors, like squeezing. But today, with more resources available, queuing is becoming completely normal.
Right. Because things are more organized.
Exact. Organized. That's a great vocabulary word for our listeners.
Organized, meaning having a clear plan and order.
Yes. When society is organized, good manners actually become possible. Good manners are often a luxury of having enough resources to go around.
That is a fascinating way to look at it.
Yeah.
You need the luxury of having enough stuff to have the luxury of being polite.
Exactly.
So now that the country has more resources and life is much more organized, how does that look in everyday life?
Well, we transition from those basic needs to modern solutions. And a great place to see this is in food industry.
Cool, the restaurants, yes.
People will happily queue for highly popular, famous restaurants now.
And these queues, which is our word for a line of people waiting these queues, can stretch for entire blocks.
Entire blocks. It's amazing.
And this goes back to my question at the very beginning. Waiting 2 or 3 hours just to get a table. People do it all the time because of this rule that good food is worth waiting for.
But waiting in a physical line for 3 hours is exhausting.
Yeah, your feet hurt, you're bored.
And you have that quiet stress of making sure nobody takes your spot. But to manage this, places now use number machines.
Right, you just take a number from a machine,
Good.
kind of like at a bank or a deli in a grocery store.
Exactly. You pull your number, you sit down, and you just wait for your specific number to be called out.
It's like a waiting room for deliciousness.
A waiting room for deliciousness. I like that. And what's fascinating here is how this technology completely removes the physical stress.
Yeah, because taking that little piece of paper just totally removes the need to guard your spot.
It takes away all the anxiety of the old squeeze. You have a guaranteed spot. It brings a real sense of fairness and calm to the whole process of waiting.
Which is such a massive shift from fighting to get on a bus.
It really is.
But with these new, highly organized systems in place, society has had to create strict new social rules, right?
Oh, absolutely. Which brings us to what happens when you break those new rules.
Right. The ultimate taboo.
Yes, the ultimate taboo. Do not cut the line.
Right. Do not cut the line. So for our beginners, cutting in line means stepping in front of other people who are already waiting.
You're just ignoring the queue and walking to the front?
And today in China, that is considered extremely rude.
Extremely rude. And rude means not polite or respectful.
Right. It is viewed as one of the most annoying behaviors possible.
Yes. Annoying, meaning something that makes you feel very frustrated or angry.
So, rude and annoying. If you cut in line, people will get very angry.
Very angry. You will likely get scolded loudly by others in the queue.
Strangers will actually yell at you.
They absolutely will.
And here's where it gets really interesting to me. A generation ago, everyone was pushing and squeezing to get on a bus. It was normal.
Right, it was survival.
But today, if you take one step in front of someone at a restaurant, the whole crowd will scold you. How did it flip so fast?
It flipped because of the new social contract.
A social contract.
Yeah. When everyone agrees to the rules of a queue, they are making a silent agreement to be fair. So when anyone breaks the rule, they aren't just stealing a physical spot.
What are they doing then?
They are disrespecting the time and the patience of the entire community.
Oh, I see.
They are insulting everyone else who chose to be organized and polite.
Wow. They're basically threatening the very system that keeps the chaos away.
Exactly. The crowd scolds the person because they are defending their modern values. They're saying, we don't live in the era of the squeeze anymore.
Wow. We have covered so much ground today. So let's bring this all together for you, our listener.
Yes, let's summarize.
We started with this simple act of waiting in a queue. But understanding how a culture waits actually gives you this brilliant window into its history.
It really does. It shows you its struggles with resources in the past and its modern values of fairness today.
And on top of that, you, our listener, just successfully navigated a deep dive in clear, structured English.
You learned about the squeeze, the queue, being organized, and what makes behavior rude or annoying.
Great job. But before we go, I know you always have a final thought for us.
I do. I want to leave our listener with a provocative question to ponder, building on what we just learned.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, if a society's manners and queuing habits change based on how many resources it has.
Right, moving from scarcity to abundance.
Exactly. How might our everyday manners change in the future if global resources become scarce again?
Oh, wow, like water or energy.
Right, or even space. If those things become scarce again, will we revert to the chaotic squeeze?
That is a scary thought. Will we just go back to pushing each other?
Or will we invent totally new ways to stay organized?
That is such a fascinating question to think about.
Right.
When the pressure's back on, do we push or do we organize?
Something to mull over the next time you are standing in a long line.
Absolutely. Well, keep practicing your English, keep thinking about these big ideas, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.